Greetings, foolish mortals. My name is Piper, I am the VO Wizard, and today, we're going to talk like your favorite genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. So I heard a rumor after the last impressions video that a lot of you want to learn how to talk like Robert Downey Jr., and I just happen to know how to do that. So I've decided to take some time out of my wizardly schedule to teach you. First things first, and I will tell you this with every character, get a general feel going on, a general vibe. Get some pictures up of Robert Downey Jr., watch a couple of interviews on YouTube, get him in your brain, get the sound for him, but watch his mannerisms more. Watch what he does. He's clever, he's confident, he's a bit of a smartass, he's commanding, but he's very disarming. There's something very seamless about his attitude at all times. There's nothing forced. You'll see some of the physicalities come out, several in the face, but some of them even with the body.
Of playboy.
First play.
And
first alum!
As the voice begins to come, as you work on the voice, you'll keep those physicalities with you, and it will reinforce the voice. Also helps if you shave in this little guy right here. Or, if you're a wizard, just... So let's move on into the pacing of the voice. Robert Downey Jr.'s pacing is a bit like his physicality. It's that quiet, confident, it'll be a bit rushed, but it's not nearly going to be as slow as somebody, say, like Alan Rickman. To keep that pacing, it'll be almost more of a Californian pace, but not quite so quick. He's not talking a million miles an hour, he's not talking to you like this. It's almost like Christopher Walken. He'll get caught up in his phrases, he'll stop, he'll continue the sentence. So when you're talking like him, you'll have sometimes a moment, kind of like that, to collect yourself. Always think about pacing. Remember pacing when you're going to do the voice. If it's rushed, it'll sound weird. If it's way too slow, it'll sound weird. Moving into the juice of what this is about, the actual voice, we'll start with timbre. Robert Downey Jr. is a bit versatile. He has a high range and he's got a low range. He sits down in baritone. He's actually almost where I am now. He goes up here and then he also comes down here. It's a very dynamic voice and it goes in between those two seamlessly, just conversationally. One of the single most important sounds or techniques that you can master for a Robert Downey Jr. is that little whistle, the little one in between your two front teeth, the two bottom and two front teeth. It's very subtle though. Do not get caught up in the whistle. Too much whistle will make it sound like a gross exaggeration if you're going for authentic. If you go way too hard with the whistle, you're going to sound kind of southern and it's not going to sound so much like Robert Downey Jr., you know? So maybe just keep it dialed back a little bit with the whistle. Listen to this clip and pay close attention to his S's when you do.
With that in mind, I humbly present the crown jewel of Stark Industries' Freedom Line. It's the first missile system.
Not so much of an S, maybe an SZ or an SZH. It's not so much of a Sean Connery. It's more of a Robert Downey Jr. S. Still an S, just kind of a whistle.
I was literally sweating mortar shells.
Not It helps you curl that top lip in a little bit. Nice and subtle. Play with that. Play with that sound as much as you can. Just sit there and make the sound constantly. Just start making that little, like the gopher from Winnie the Pooh. Just do it when you're doing stuff. Just while you're working on the computer. I should remind you that making a fool of yourself is going to be part of this process. So if you want to do this alone, so be it. That's all the better. I do it alone most of the time. But that S. That's how he does it. That's the way Dad did it.
That's how Dad did it.
That's the way America does it.
That's how America does it.
Does it. Not does it. Does it.
And it's worked out pretty well so far.
And it's worked out pretty well so far. So far. I tend to jut my jaw forward. I think that just helps me with the voice, to push that forward a little bit as his voice is pushed forward. It feels like it starts here and goes this way. Also helps with the S's a little bit. You're going to feel your jaw come forward a little bit as you try to master those S's. And also, punch some of those syllables. Don't be afraid in the middle of your sentences to, when you pause, the next thing that you say, hit it really hard.
And it was so not funny.
When that little whistle is nice and subtle and under your command, you can move forward. The second thing to think about with Robert Downey Jr. is he's a bit nasal. A little bit. So listen to my natural voice as I'm talking to you now. And then even as you pinch a little bit, as you pinch upwards, it gets caught right in there, and you can hear it. It's almost like an Owen Wilson as well. Not during most of his ends, but things like R in here, here, if you can hear it.
And look at us here now. Here now. Here now.
My here versus his here. Like the S sound, that nasal isn't all the time, and it's subtle. It's not overly done. It's very natural. It's very organic with him. The third thing to think about with Robert Downey Jr. is his O's. His O's and U's. Some of his vowel sounds sound very Californian. Sometimes overly so. So. Something to think about. That O is like the N's and the S's. Not all the time, but it's definitely there. And it does put that defining touch on a genuine Robert Downey Jr. impersonation. Same thing with the U. The U does almost the same thing as the O. U.
So it's like a centrifugy issue or something?
Take notice that a lot of his sentence structure does go upwards. So I'm fine today, how are you? He'll often end things trying to be funny in that upward swing. His cadence is very dynamic, so keep that in mind. It's very conversational, and you'll learn that as you listen to him and as you keep practicing the voice. It will become very organic like it is with him. Last thing with R.D.J, as it is with every voice I will tell you in the series, is practice, practice, practice. You won't get anywhere closer to doing a Robert Downey Jr. voice without practice. These are just the hints along the way to get you to that voice, to push you over the line. The rest of it is up to you. How much do you use the voice when you're just doing stuff? Read an interview, read an article about Robert Downey Jr. as Robert Downey Jr. It will likely sound very bad at first. Get used to listening to yourself. Get used to your voice not sounding exactly how you want it.
Ugh! Why do I sound like that?
But as you continue to read through the articles and read through other things as Robert Downey Jr., as you read more articles, as you continue to use the voice over and over and over and over again, you will get more and more comfortable doing it. Record yourself and listen to yourself back. You will hear exactly what's going great and what's going wrong in those recordings.
Ugh!
So as you put more and more of these sounds together, the S and the N, also think about jamming the O in there. The word San Francisco has a lot of his sounds inside of it. It's got that nasal N. It's also got the S right up front. And then it's also got the O at the end. I'd recommend doing this voice very slowly at first. Make sure you've got those sounds first. Make sure you've got those sounds coming out first. Do it slowly. Do it confidently. Get that physicality down. Get the confidence. And then start speeding it up. When you get everything up to a nice, comfortable speaking pace, you can start having some fun. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. For a more advanced challenge, start trying to match tone and pace. Put yourself over a movie clip and see how close you can make it. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. Keep that physicality in mind. Relaxed, but assertive. And then as you combine the physicality and his demeanor, pacing, all of those sounds that you get in there, and a bunch of practice, will start sounding like a passable Robert Downey Jr. That's all for this lesson, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed yourself today and you learned something, hit the subscribe button below and then ding the bell so you know when I come out with another video. Drop a comment down below, let me know how you liked it, how your Robert Downey Jr. is coming along, and who I should teach next. If you enjoyed Wizard School today, be sure to keep an eye on this playlist for more lessons just like this one. If you know somebody who'd be interested in doing impersonations, share this video and let them know. And remember, if you want to see some cheap tricks, go watch anybody. But if you want to know some real magic, you let your friends know there's a wizard in town. See you next time.